Back inside America West Arena, Bob Fitzgerald and Jim Barnett as we take a look at the Southwest Airlines starting lineup. Muggsy Bogues, Jim Jackson, Danielle Marshall, and Clarence Weatherspoon. Eric Dampier in the middle for on the Golden State Warriors. And after two performances they would like to turn around against the Phoenix Suns, I wonder if PJ will go with any different type of matchup looks or at least try to get up and down with the Suns. They lead the NBA in assists. And PJ, I think in a half-court style, very difficult to match up with Phoenix. For Danny Ainge, he will throw out Jason Kidd. Rex Chapman back in the starting lineup after missing the last 4 ball games. Antonio McDyess will be at the power forward spot. Clifford Robinson, Uncle Cliffy, and John Hot Rod Williams play sparingly but effective minutes in the post. And Danny Ainge, second youngest coach, and I thought Jason Kidd pretty revealing. It is a lot what you alluded to, Jim. He's a friend and hasn't had to deal with his players harshly yet. That will change as he coaches more and more years in the NBA.
And I didn't mean to implicate him and say that he would still like to be a player, but there's a little bit of me that thinks he would still like to go out there and shoot the ball.
Antonio McDyess, his shooting has come around lately, averaging over 15 points. Whether or not he's re-signed in the offseason, a big question. Jim Jackson in the Warriors' off-court situation will play a big role in the summer as they continue to look for quality backcourt help. Jim Capers, Tommy Nunez, and Eddie Rush will blow the whistles tonight. Marshall opens up on Robinson. Difficult small forward matchup. Hot Rod, not much of an offensive player. Drops it off to McDyess. And that's an area he's improved on, his outside shooting. You know he can leap.
Missed the game in the win over the Clippers because he and Olajuwon traded punches. So there were 4 players that missed the next game after that by suspension.
And this is a surprising fight because Akeem started it. And McDyess had to defend himself. Dampier fouled, slicing in the lane. That was set up by the double team on Weatherspoon. And talking to the Warrior coaching staff, they said the Suns will double team in the post every single time. So how do the Warriors dice it up?
You can see that everyone just comes in and you forget the matchups. You just go to where the ball is and where the vulnerable spots are. This is a very active team. Their defense is the best it's ever been in their history this year.
Yeah, when you say best it's ever been, you realize they have never had a full season. 102 points, Jim. That's the fewest points they've allowed on average. That's the fewest points. So, you know, they've been burning a little rubber here in the Valley of the Sun offensively.
Yeah, it's another 8-point differential right now. But they've always been known for their scoring, and they've got a bundle of scorers.
Even at 2. Played 50 seconds here in Arizona. Hot Rod Williams with the shot clock down to 9. Well, might set up Kidd in the post on Muggsy. That has happened before. But with the shot clock down to 3, Robinson's going to have to make something out of nothing. Down to 1, threw it up. He did catch iron, but Jackson able to come up with a defensive board. JJ thought about it, dropped it off to Weatherspoon. He couldn't finish. And look at Kidd quickly up to Chapman, who wastes no time.
Well, per dollar paid to Rex Chapman and what he brings to this club, he could be their most valuable player.
Yeah, $247,000 last year, $334,000 this year. Dampier working hard, still working hard, still working hard, and finally the foul on the 4th attempt. A couple of blocked shots in there as Robinson and McDyess combined, but Dampier didn't give up on the play.
He's a little surprised he didn't get to the line a little sooner. He stayed with it. This really pads your offensive rebound numbers, but it hurts your shooting percentage. But just a great effort as he was relentless to get it back up.
And 3 offensive rebounds on the possession, and somewhere George McGinnis is smiling. As Dampier, 3 of 3 free throwing now. And an opportunity to tie the ball game. Suns leading 4-3. Dampier missed it short, but spooned the offensive board.
Usually a short rebound, a short shot doesn't come that far off the rim. Usually comes off the back of the rim that long.
And Weatherspoon, another offensive rebound off the Marshall miss. Drop it off to Muggsy. Warriors had the open shot, but look at Danielle on the offensive board, and he can't put it in, but Dampier does. The offensive rebounding numbers staggering, and the Warriors working hard for a 1-point lead.
Ainge a little upset at his players for not blocking out. That looked a lot like Stanford Day against College of Charleston. They had a huge height advantage.
Hot Rod Williams, a distinctive behind-the-head release. And Hot Rod drops it down. And the Suns back up 6-5. Played 2.5. And at least the Warriors pounding it inside more than we've seen in 2 previous losses to the Suns. Jackson along 2, doesn't go. Chapman, good position to Robinson, but punched out. Williams couldn't hit the jumper, but McDyess will turn about fair play on the Warriors as he grabbed the offensive board. Robinson on the mismatch on Jim Jackson, got to where he needed to be and dropped it in.
So far the Warriors with a good offensive rebounding against a very big front line and good defenders. McDyess is a good defender. Robinson's a good defender. Williams is also.
Jackson drops in a 3, and Jim Jackson, whose three-point shooting didn't come with him from Philadelphia, is only now 5 of 24 in a Warrior uniform. But a big one there, and the Warriors tie it at 8. Robinson tried to untie it, and the smallest man on the floor comes up with the ball. Should mention both teams are down to 11-man rosters tonight. Muggsy a little late there, batted out of bounds. It'll be Warrior ball. Mark Bryant with the flu, Jim, has gone home from the arena. He will not play for the Phoenix Suns, and Felton Spencer is not with the Warriors. Back spasms has remained in the Bay Area. So both teams going 11 deep, and the Suns, they go 11 deep anyway most nights. 11 guys playing 15 minutes or more. Muggsy Bogues drops in the jumper. Good ball movement by the Warriors, and they take the lead 10-8 as we've played nearly 4 minutes here in the first.
Well, speaking of the Suns, 7 of those 11 players average in double figures. 2 games ago, they had 9 of the 10 players that played in the game hit double figures. That's tough to match.
McDyess, the crossover, Dampier spiked it, and the Warriors look to run. Jackson kind of fanned out.
I don't know why he didn't stay in the middle. I mean, number 1 rule is keep the ball in the middle. Let other people fill the lane.
Jason Kidd will give it to McDyess, trying to fill the lane. Shook the backboard, but didn't come up with a bucket. Jackson trailing 3, around and out.
Trouble here, trouble here.
Trouble for Kidd as Muggsy stole it. And Muggsy couldn't get it back. And Marshall over the back of Clifford Robinson.
Well, Muggsy came out smelling like a rose on that. Because if he didn't get the steal, it was a 3-on-1. And you don't see Jason Kidd lose the ball very often in these types of situations. Muggsy just got underneath him.
Warriors have shot below 40% in the last 3 ball games, and tonight another inauspicious beginning, 23% shooting, but they made up for it on the offensive boards, and they're owning the defensive glass as well.
If Muggsy were a little bigger, he could continue right on that play, get a return pass, and take it all the way to the basket. That's where it does hurt, having Muggsy at 5'3" out there running the break.
Kidd almost the steal, but it will be Warrior ball. 6:51 remaining in the first. Timeout on the floor. Warriors up 2. Warriors up 2, and the crowd rising in America West Arena as the 3-time heavyweight champion of the world, Muhammad Ali, is in the building. Muhammad actually staying at the Warrior Hotel doing a little charity luncheon today, Jim.
Yeah, he got an award here in the Valley of the Sun, and actually I went downstairs and the coaching staff met him last night. I got a chance to stand alongside and get to shake the hands of the great Muhammad Ali. He tried to put on a little dancing show. Couldn't quite pull it off, but he's an interesting guy. His mind is still very alert. To meet an icon like that, what a thrill.
Muhammad Ali, I had an opportunity to meet him in college. He was a little more lucid at that time, and he still got a great sense of humor. And people talk about Michael Jordan. Ali, worldwide, probably still the most famous athletic figure and a political figure as well. Has done a number of amazing things in a varied and storied career. Warriors with a 10-8 lead after the turnover. McDyess trying to work down low, and Spoon able to knock it out with 9 to shoot. Will remain Phoenix ball. Warriors 12-5 rebound advantage, 7 offensive rebounds already.
They're going to need that kind of effort against a team that can put up a lot of points in a hurry from a lot of different people. Now, when you're in trouble when there are big people like McDyess and Robinson can go outside and start converting, because they usually hurt you inside.
Yeah, McDyess 2 of 4 shooting, has missed a dunk and an inside shot, but has hit 2 18-footers. Robinson on Marshall. Different feed from the high post to Dampier. Couldn't get the lefty hook in, but that was a good look as he had good position when he caught it.
It was a great catch just in traffic there because he was being held a little bit. He's learning to adapt to people holding and pushing inside and knowing what to expect a little more. And that gives him a little advantage.
Eric, only 23 years of age in his second year. He'll learn the tricks of the trade down low. McDyess on the turnaround. This jumper doesn't go, and Marshall with the rebound. Muggsy already in the front court with 20 to shoot. Took him only 4 seconds to get into the offense, and that allows a more deliberate half-court set by not wasting time. Marshall, wide open three, just ticked the front of the iron.
He passed one up a moment ago. I thought this time, since he had a wide open opportunity, he might knock that down.
Rex Chapman blowing in, couldn't cram it up against the glass, and Dampier has his 6th rebound. Jackson trying to run the lane, settled for the fadeaway. It's an air ball.
Okay, those are the kind of plays where you try to get the ball to the rim, and you're really bailing the defense out if you don't.
Warriors 3 of 16, 18%, but the Suns 6 of 14, 35%. So neither ball club shooting well. Robinson double team, Kidd left open. And sometimes you can do that, but you have to block him off. And Jason Kidd able to rip it away from Dampier.
Dampier got hurt. He's limping on his right leg.
Tried to challenge a Robinson shot, and we'll keep an eye on Dampier's maneuverability.
I don't know whether he just banged knees. I think he's going to be okay. Looks like a temporary little banging of bodies in there with Kidd and Dampier.
Suns with a 2-point lead, 4:19 remaining in the first. Jackson's pass was deflected, but Muggsy cycled it to Spoon, and it blocked at the rim by Hot Rod. Dampier's runner off glass goes with the left hand.
What a great shot. I think he just threw it up there, was thinking he's going to have to follow it, but it went in for him. Weatherspoon took it all the way to the rim and got it blocked. He was trying to dunk that one.
Dampier's got 7. McDyess keeps shooting from outside. Maybe him making the first 2 will help the Warriors. Feed ahead to Weatherspoon, and he was fouled, says Tommy Nunez.
Well, no doubt about the game plan. Run, run, run.
McDyess picks up his 2nd personal foul. I don't think that's a bad game plan at all.
Weatherspoon getting out over the top, pump fake. McDyess in the air, commits the foul. But Caffey coming in. Remember how valuable he was in that Sacramento win. Everybody played badly last game against Minnesota. Danny Manning, originally #1 draft pick back in '88, is in.
Caffey is fouled. Did well just to pick that up as Jim Jackson kind of threw it at his feet. Jason Caffey at about 24 minutes a game, 9.7 points, 7.4 rebounds, and has been the guy coming off the Warrior bench.
Once again, a crowd, and the Warriors lucky to get that ball back up into the hands of Caffey. It was caromed over that way. He gets to the line. How about those 12 rebounds, though, in the 4th quarter against Sacramento? 12 rebounds in a quarter.
Caffey's only a 66% free thrower. He and Antonio McDyess played at Alabama together along with Roy Rogers, so an entire front line that has made it to the NBA. And I know that Caffey thinks that he probably is closer to McDyess's ability than people want to realize. Caffey lasted until the 20th pick, while McDyess was taken right behind Joe Smith.
Phoenix has 10 first-round draft picks on their roster this year. 10.
Jason Kidd posted up Muggsy and shot it over him.
They've got 6 that are in the top 8.
And they got Dennis Scott. They traded for him. He was 4th overall. 14-13. Suns on top. Jackson's outside shot doesn't go. There's Caffey again inside. Working it. Can't finish. Jackson tries. He can't, but he draws the foul. So the Warriors, 4 of 20 shooting. Yet they're down 1 because they are out rebounding the Suns 18-10.
And they're getting to the line. This will be the 7th and 8th free throws attempt. The Suns have yet to shoot a free throw. Warriors, you know, repeat the same pattern. Don't shoot the ball well, but if they play well in other aspects of the game, they stay in the game. but sooner or later, you've got to start getting that percentage up, at least in the low 40s.
Well, they're not taking full advantage of the free throw opportunities. 7 free throw attempts, but making only 4. And we mentioned the last 3 games, the Warriors shooting well below 40%, 36% in the loss to Minnesota. And it really, the first half in Sacramento is the last decent shooting half the Warriors have had. So a team collective shooting slump as Chapman's reversal doesn't go. Bothered by Dampier, and Muggsy headed the other way. Even at 14, Dampier ready to catch. Batted away McLeod. And look at that save by Robinson.
Now you know where McLeod is going, right behind that line.
Hit double team. He'll find the open man.
4 on the perimeter.
Handing to Robinson, a little scoop finger roll goes.
Just a lot of talent. Just a tremendous amount of talent.
If you believe the entire rumor mill, this talent will grow with additions like Scottie Pippen and Ike Austin come this offseason. The Suns nearly $15 to $17 million of salary cap room to go shopping.
And the job for Danny Ainge is to keep everybody happy.
They come up with the steal. The Suns will have the ball when we come back. 2:12 remaining. Phoenix on top by 2, and the greatest of all time in the building. March brings thunderous sale specials on Warriors apparel and merchandise. You'll find a selection of hats, sports and practice wear, and stylish casual apparel all on sale at discounted prices. The Arena Team Store is open at all home games, and the Warriors on Broadway store downtown Oakland is open 7 days a week. Call 510-839-2244 for updates on specials during March Madness. We get back to live action. They're going to reset the 24-second clock. It was at 8, but it was the kid steal right before the break that gave Phoenix the basketball. Leading by 2, Warriors out rebounding the Suns, but Jim, the Warriors 4 of 21 shooting the basketball. Phoenix not a lot better, 8 of 21, but Warriors very fortunate to be involved in a 2-point game.
Yeah, Muggsy took the opportunity right there for a little stop in the action to go over and talk to Muhammad Ali. Ball was taken out right in front of the great one. Everybody is in awe of that guy.
Rex Chapman.
To get back to your point, yeah, because I really don't think you can stop the Suns from scoring. They just got too many weapons.
The 6th highest scoring team, and that's one way to stop them is block the shot at the rim.
Well, the Warriors have done an outstanding job in the first quarter, but how long can that continue? They need some of this. Finishing breaks at the basket. Daniel Marshall's one of the guys that can get there.
See Jim Jackson, he is so willing to pass the ball and will not keep it in his hands a long period of time, that if teammates move and run and cut without the ball, Jackson will deliver it. George McLeod has delivered many, many outside shots. A couple of years ago took more threes than anyone in the history of the league, 678 in 1 year. That's the NBA record for attempts. That was just a 2.
You just can't leave McLeod alone. Nice move by Marshall, just didn't finish. Look at the rebounding inside again by Dampier.
Dampier bodied a couple times, and I think waiting for a whistle, and none forthcoming from Jim Capers. Robinson pushed out of bounds, and now Dampier's going to pick up a foul on this play. That is on both ends of the floor. You can see where Eric might get a little bit frustrated.
Well, that's one of those plays where years ago it would have been a force out. They don't have a force out anymore, so they have to call a violation or a foul. But inadvertent contact.
Kevin Johnson checks into the ball game for Rex Chapman. KJ in his 11th year out of Cal at 32 years of age, possibly his final year in an NBA uniform.
Said he was going to retire after last year, but couldn't pass up to $8 million. I don't blame him.
The jump hook by Cliff Robinson gives the Suns a 4-point lead. That is their largest of the night.
But, you know, KJ's only played in half the games this year, 30 of the first 62 to be exact. And I have a feeling, too, he can just let Jason Kidd and Steve Nash take over.
Dampier running in the lane, and he will be fouled, says Eddie Rush. So Eddie Rush has been watching some of the body blows that Dampier's absorbed on both sides of the floor and rewards him that time. And Damp back to the foul line to shoot free throws 5 and 6.
Being defended by Danny Manning, that was a liberal call, I will say, because Dampier did wind up and take a couple of steps, but they ruled that Danny Manning, who's not nearly as strong and big, as John Hot Rod Williams pushed him.
10 rebounds already for Dampier in the first quarter. Still has 39 seconds to run.
Now that's an amazing stat.
Well,
against a big front line of the Phoenix Suns.
Yeah, we got 3 of those on that one offensive possession. But I like the defensive rebounding. He's been a force inside, not only blocking and altering shots. And from the foul line, Dampier 5 of 6. So the Warriors back within 2. Phoenix the type of team that will probably go 2 for 1. KJ bodied and grabbed by Muggsy, and he'll draw the foul. Warriors over the limit, so Kevin Johnson strides to the free throw line. Kevin Johnson has won so many of the Citizenships Award, was named 1,000 Points of Light by George Bush. Should tell you the tickets for Sunday's game against the Toronto Raptors, a special 5 p.m. That's the matinee deal, so bring the kids out. Available at Bass at 510-762-BASS or stop by the arena box office, warehouse or tower locations. KJ making both free throws. Suns up 4. Look at Dampier break the pressure. Lucky that the Warriors didn't turn it over. Caffey spinning around with the left hand, didn't go. And Kidd headed the other way. As Robinson running, has to beat Muggsy. Passed up the shot, and Johnson bailed him out.
I love the way Kidd runs the fast break, though. He doesn't waste any time. He threw that ball over the top at an angle to the basket to be chased down. Didn't get the layup, but then KJ had an easy look.
Muggsy tried to get it inside. Robinson inside of a second from 70 feet. KJ can't get it to go. Warriors made 4 field goals in losing to Minnesota in the first quarter. They were down 17. Tonight they make 5 field goals, but they are within 6 because they are rebounding. The Phoenix Gorilla making a grand entrance to America West. Say what you want about mascots. He is one of the best in the business. Our game summary, it's all about shooting from the field. Warriors hanging in there rebounding-wise, but unless they start dropping them in the bucket, it just becomes an inevitability.
I don't care how good the rest of your game is, you're not going to win shooting 20%. That's a simple fact of life in the NBA. Todd Fuller, Tony Delkin.
2 shooters, along with Weatherspoon, Caffey, and Jim Jackson. Remember, Felton Spencer not here. Steve Nash, Kevin Johnson, Cliff Robinson, Danny Manning, and George McLeod. 5 to shoot. Jackson can't hold it. The Warriors not taking care of the basketball now with 5 turnovers.
Yeah, that's a pass that should not have been thrown. It just didn't have the right angle and too many defensive personnel inside. Manning is so tough.
Leaned in on Fuller, wanted a whistle too, but made the shot anyway.
Look at Danny, he's full court pressing. He can play all 5 positions. This guy is probably the most consummate team player in the NBA today.
KJ's taking Jim Jackson and Delkin Nash the other matchup. So this is kind of a double point guard look that the Suns go to a lot. Skip pass, and Delk dropped it to Fuller. Just backed off Manning, had a good open look and didn't make the shot. Warriors lose it out of bounds. It's been a 2-point game of the Suns with the last 6, now lead by 8.
If Todd could have maintained the dribble. Now PJ's talking about he thought it went off Phoenix Suns' hands, so did I. But if Todd could have maintained the dribble when Manning went down, he could have gone right to the rim with it. Look at that pass.
McLeod, beautiful touch pass. Manning moving without the ball. And the Warriors are going to stop it. 8-0 Suns run, 10:39 remaining in the half. Phoenix has pushed it to 10, and the Warriors shooting drops to 19% on 5 of 26.
On this play. Now Steve Nash comes back. We'll stop it right here. Okay, they're worried about a 3-point threat, so 2 defenders come out. He's going to pass the ball over George McLeod coming off a screen. But see Danny Manning? Look how he reads the defense. He's going to make a direct cut to the basket. I said before, he just knows how to play the basketball game. That is perfect timing, perfect execution, and great team-oriented basketball.
And you have to respect it because they have so many good outside shooters on Phoenix. You don't have a guy who can make that outside shot. You don't have to pay that much attention to him. Shot clock at 5. Jackson's got to create. Gets it to Caffey. Loses it out of bounds. Warriors offense is just self-destructing at this moment. Not shooting the ball well. Turnovers growing to 6. And the Suns just slowly kind of easing away. Robinson.
Well, you know, the Warriors do double off a pick and roll, but that means you've got to swarm the ball handler and not get it back to the man that you left open. He's the guy that can't catch the ball. The Warriors would like him to rotate it around. They just had a breakdown.
Run grows to 10-0. Last 5 times down, the Warriors 3 turnovers and 2 missed shots. Almost a turnover. Caffey able to get it in. A much needed basket.
One thing about Caffey, he doesn't know or care. He does care what the score is, but he's going to play the same way, whether you're down or up. He plays hard.
KJ being watched by Jackson. Shot clock at 9. Lost him. Drew the foul. Jim Jackson guarding one of the quicker point guards.
And I thought that was the problem. I thought he overextended on Kevin Johnson. That's where someone from the weak side has to say your open baseline so that you know that you're vulnerable that way. You also should recognize that, I would think. Kevin
Johnson out of Sacramento High School. Remember, he was drafted by the A's in 1986, 23rd round, played a couple games with the Modesto farm team. Our Bank of America League leaders, assists per game, Phoenix, numero uno. Utah and Minnesota, Warriors already get a good dose of how well the T-Wolves move the ball, and the Suns putting on a display as well, 11 assists on their 14 baskets. Can't really trap Muggsy. He's able to get it into the front court. 32-20, Phoenix on top. We played nearly 3 minutes here in the second quarter. Tony Delk can't get it to go. Manning did such a great job on Weatherspoon. Weatherspoon went across the lane trying to get a return pass inside. Danny fronted, and then he blocked off. Then he ignited the break. Robinson inside, and Weatherspoon played the good defense, and Marshall Weatherspoon couldn't grab the basketball. Robinson felt he was fouled on the play. Didn't draw iron on that shot. I think he was held. So a fresh 24 with 8:51 remaining in the half, and the Suns a 12-point lead in the ball. KJ lost Delk, and Daniel Marshall on the other side. Spoon bodying KJ, drew the foul. Second team foul, non-shooter. When you're a big guy and you think you're going to body someone, you have to anticipate and get there sooner. Usually you get there late. They've already turned the corner. That was good defense by Spoon, kind of pushed Robinson underneath the backboard on the alley-oop. Marshall from outside. He can't get it to drop. Ball loose, and here's McLeod. The Warriors now 6 of 29 shooting at 20%. McLeod a point-blank opportunity. Warriors have scored 2 points this quarter. Haven't played 3:45 thus far. Dampier looking to kick it outside, and the Warriors turn it over. There's a sense of frustration body language-wise, too, when you look at the Warriors. They know the shots aren't going. They're having trouble handling the ball, and the Suns are creeping away. Timeout on the floor. 8:10 remaining in the half. Phoenix is up a dozen. Just outside America West Arena, downtown Phoenix. Looked like they built this city yesterday. You know, that terrific weather, brand new construction, and people just moving to the southwest. Warrior TV Roundtable Saturday, Sunday, and Wednesday. March Madness special. Dan Belwamity will join Tim Roy and yours truly as we talk about the brackets, Stanford and USF, some of the Stanford women's. Warriors shooting indescribable. Kevin Johnson. You wonder how he can get a shot off over the outstretched arms of a guy 6'9" with long arms of Daniel Marshall, because Marshall has to concede the drive there, or the outside shot. He's really protecting against that drive because the quickness allows just enough space. Muggsy Bogues now 2 of 5, has 4 points after dropping in the jumper. And that had a run, Jim, the last 12 Warrior possessions. They were 1 of 8 shooting with 3 turnovers, and that was a 16-6 Phoenix run. That's how they built this lead.
Danny Ainge has gone to this small lineup now. Manning is playing the center position. He's capable of hitting that shot. We know that. So he's essentially going with 4 guards. I guess you could call McLeod a forward. But he sometimes tinkers with these kinds of lineups. I'm surprised because of the success he's had without going small tonight that he's here.
Dell double team, lost it out of bounds, so the Suns take over, and the small lineup paying immediate dividends.
Yeah.
We already saw Manning hit the outside shot, and the 2 point guards combining on the steal.
Yep, very disruptive. Pressing. Steve Nash not the quickest, but Kevin Johnson with that experience comes in, helps out, and we know what Jason Kidd can do in those situations. Breaking down the defense, KJ.
McLeod left open. Look at Nash. Nash read it out of the shooter's hand. He saw it short, and he ran, kind of anticipating the long rebound.
Yeah, and you don't get many opportunities where McLeod will miss a wide-open 3 like that.
Missed a wide-open dunk. And now Muggsy blowing into the front court. Pulls up on the run and drops it in, and was fouled. So Muggsy Bogues a little energy, back-to-back buckets, and heads to the foul line to try to complete the 3-point play.
I think when he was sitting on the bench, the coach just said, Muggsy, you got to get aggressive. McLeod misses going in for the 2nd time to the basket tonight, and Muggsy just comes down, launches that, and then the free throw.
Muggsy Bogues dropped the free throw. Now has 7, 36-25. So if the Warriors can weather the storm here, as they end up with a Phoenix turnover and just kind of put the shooting woes behind them, hang around here until halftime, and you would think that a team cannot struggle for an entire 48 minutes in shooting, although Phoenix been holding the Warriors to only 33% in one of the previous meetings. That's the NBA season low, so it can happen.
Well, Muggsy just did a great job to save that one.
Dampier.
I don't know how he got that one.
Look where Dampier had to catch the ball, double teamed in the right corner in front of the Suns bench, and the Warriors lucky to get it out of bounds off a Suns foot with 5 to shoot to reset.
Good double screen for Tony, but that jump switch by McLeod.
Again, McLeod is 6'8". Dampier made the shot, but it was after the 24-second violation.
That's a tough break. That's because Dampier read the clock, just didn't get out of his hands quickly enough.
It goes as the Warriors' 9th turnover. That's resulted in 8 Phoenix points. 36-25 Phoenix. Warriors will have to do it on the defensive end. McLeod, a set shot 3.
Well, 2 games ago, the Suns erupted for 42 points in the 2nd quarter against the Clippers. McLeod accounted for 18 of them. 4 3-pointers in that quarter alone. 18 of the 42. In fact, Nash chipped in with 14, so those 2 scored 32 of the 42 in that period. They're dangerous shooters.
McLeod has made 6 threes in a quarter before. The NBA record is 10 in a game, and he's tied that. Suns steal, but Muggsy stopped the onslaught, and a 3-on-1 back the other way to Danielle. He can't finish. Ball still batted around. Marshall gets it back. Then he finished with the foul.
Finally bounced the right way, and there was no defender there, and Danielle recognized that. He got it up very quickly off the glass.
Cannot fault the Warrior effort at all. It's just that shots are not going in. There's a lid on the basket, and they continue to work.
Well, some of those times you just try to keep the ball alive. You tap it off the board. You know you're going to go back and get it again because you don't have control. And you can see how the defense is. It's just a quick reaction. The defense moves out of the play. You know if you keep it alive, you only have 1 defender to beat them. So they worked to perfection, except he didn't complete the 3-point play.
He missed the free throw. Like see Jim Jackson. Only 4 points now, get up to his career numbers against Phoenix. The Warriors could use the point production. Down 12. Kidd breaking it down. Manning fouled as he came in. Dampier had to slide over.
Just a great read by Manning and Kidd again. A little drive to the basket, and Manning just trails the play. This is a blind pass. Watch Jason Kidd. Yeah, that's a blind pass, knowing exactly where Danny Manning was going to be.
Tough in the NCAA tournament time not to think of Danny and the Miracles, that Kansas team that won the national championship in 1988. Danny Manning now in his 10th year, been with Phoenix for 3 years, All-Star a couple years. Sixth man of the year, Jim, you got a vote?
Well, Bryant probably has the edge, but look at the field goal percentage for Danny Manning. He and McDyess are over 51%. But Manning is so valuable to this club. And the antithesis of Kobe Bryant, because Kobe's still learning to play the game. Manning is the consummate teacher on the floor. He just knows everything. Position, timing.
Jackson missed the shot and then went over the back and following it. Suns up 14, 41-27. Suns shooting has improved up to 47%, while the Warriors still stuck on that 25% mark, 9 of 35. 6-point game after one, and Phoenix has just gotten better and better as the game's worn on. And Dampier, if that's on him, and it is, it's his third foul. So with 4:26 left to go in the half, Dampier more than likely going to have to come out of the game once the Warrior bench given the bad news. Now George McLeod has gone through the depths, as he was originally a 7th-round pick in '89, 4 years with the Pacers, but then the CBA, Italy.
First-round pick, but number 7 overall.
Right. CBA, Italy, then Dallas. That's where he's resurrected from the CBA, and then the Lakers.
Well,
and now finding a home here.
He just never flourished in Indiana. Finally, though, in that 4th year there, he averaged about 7 points a game, but it had grown from like 2 to 3, and he just, you know what? He was too overweight. Plus, he'd had some personal tragedy in his life, which we'll go into a little later.
Well, I think the thing that's interesting is Brian Colangelo and Jerry Colangelo, Danny Ainge put this team together, is that the word you hear out of their mouths every 3rd or 4th word is shooting. You cannot have enough shooting. And the Suns, everywhere you look down the roster, are guys who can shoot the basketball. Tony Delk missing. Jackson working hard, got the board, able to put it in.
Offensive rebound story has been it for the Warriors. That just keeps them hanging at least within reach.
Warriors within reach at 13. They kind of gutted out the final 3:45 of the half. Backing in, Robinson can't get it to go, and Caffey with a strong board. Jackson has Rex Chapman on him. Danielle Marshall being fronted by McLeod. Caffey feeding Danielle, batted out of bounds. It'll be Warrior ball with 11 to shoot.
Now they didn't complete the play, but that was a great read by Caffey. Those people are on the same page.
Look for Marshall on the inbound, but Chapman got a hand on it, and his Suns are headed the other way. Kidd getting it back and finishing it off. The baskets come so easily for Phoenix while the Warriors labor on the other end. Delka 3, much needed as he rips cord from 23-9. And it's a 12-point game with 3 minutes remaining in the half.
Even after the Jason Kidd basket, the Warriors pushed it up, and that got a little mismatch for Tony Delk. He was being defended by McLeod. Not nearly as quick. Had to give him ground. Uh-oh, this is dangerous.
Rattled out McLeod. Danielle Marshall fouled as Kidd banged him in the back. Danielle had the better defensive rebounding positions. And the difference between tonight's game and the T-Wolves game is the Warriors have struggled just as dramatically shooting the basketball, and yet they have not rolled over. And Minnesota got up 17 after 1, and the Warriors were never in that ball game. And you still see the effort and the hustle and the rebounds and the defense. And it's not paying dividends on the scoreboard now because they're still down 12, but you got to feel better about the bounce back.
There's much more energy tonight. Absolutely.
Caffey double team. They swing it around to Delk, and he hit 2 in a row. Yes, he can. That is a long 2, but it makes it a 10-point game. Tony Delk 2 of 4 shooting off the bench. Chapman to Robinson.
I think it's a mistake to jump at the shooter that close to the basket by 2 people. 2 people jumping, and the guy rolls to the hoop. He gets the ball right in the paint. You don't have time to rotate. And I think that's exactly what PJ is saying.
It's a 20-second timeout.
See, watch this. Okay, you're right at the lane. You're right by the free throw line. You leave a man who is lurking right along the baseline there, you're giving up a dunk. And that's just a bad read. And then maybe just a little lack of communication when they jump. at the shooter, the potential shooter who became the passer.
Well, the other thing, too, is the Suns lead the league in assists. So to have that happen, this is the best passing team in the NBA.
But they've got great passers. I mean, Danny Manning from his position can pass. Robinson, more of a shooter and a defender, but he can play multi-positions.
But think of the passes we've seen even the first half. George McLeod with a nice feed. Chapman with the feed. McDyess has made a pass. Guys that, we know the point guards can pass, but other players on this team can all move the ball.
And one of the reasons why it gets contagious. Unselfishness breeds more passing.
Daniel, a tough take on the baseline, draws the foul, and earns himself 2 free throws. Marshall with 4 points and 5 rebounds, trying to pad those point numbers. Warriors down 12. They've trailed by as many as 15. 2:02 remaining in the first half. Daniel's rebounding numbers staying fairly consistent for the season, above 8. With the Joe Smith trade, he is the Warriors' leading scorer at 15-5. Also picked up about 1.5 steals and nearly 2 assists. So the continuing story of Daniel Marshall with only 20 games remaining. It's no longer a fluke or a surprise, but he's a guy in his 4th season rebuilding his career. Daniel hitting both free throws. We're back to a 10-point margin.
2 minutes, 2 minutes.
KJ McLeod, Nash, Chapman, and Manning. Still that small lineup with a bunch of shooters for Phoenix. Johnson going to work on Muggsy with 11 to shoot. Singled right now. Shot clock at 6, and Manning got the good position. Caffey had to grab him.
In the penalty foul zone, number 21, Jason Caffey.
Now, how do you build a group of talent like this, especially with the constraints of the NBA salary cap? And the way you do that, Jim, is signing free agents like Danny Manning, getting him to agree for the $1 million exception with the promise of much larger riches in the future. And that has had several NBA teams a little upset with Jerry Colangelo, the managing general partner. And how is Rex Chapman playing for the minimum? Why did Danny Manning come here for $1 million? Why did Cliff Robinson come here for just $1 million?
Well, Colangelo has 2 good things going here in the Valley of the Sun. The Phoenix Suns franchise, which has been so successful historically through the years, and now the new Diamondbacks.
Well, don't forget the Phoenix Coyotes as well in the NHL. Tony Delk has hit his last 3 shots. And the Warriors stay within 10 for the final 82 seconds of the first half. Manning, top of the key. Trickled over iron. Daniel Marshall battled McLeod for it, and Muggsy headed into the front court. Warriors can get it to single digits here. That would be a major, major accomplishment. Caffey gently on the reverse, and the Warriors have it down to 8.
They've had a nice little run here the last 6 minutes.
They shot 5 of 25 at the end of the first quarter. Being within 8 is bordering on the miraculous. Manning down low to McLeod. He missed the layup.
He's missed 3 inside at point-blank range tonight. And only 1 of his 3 attempts from beyond the arc.
He's only comfortable when he's 24 feet away. Kevin Johnson can't get it to go. And could the Warriors cut it to 6? Daniel in the post with the taller Manning on him. The double team comes. There's the skip pass. 4 in a row for Delk. Can't do it. Shot clock off. And KJ will play for 1. Warriors had a chance and had the hottest shooter on the team letting fly. Behind the game clock, bottom right, no shot clock. Johnson, the open jumper, dropped it down.
And Tony went behind the screen because usually KJ drives off that. Can he make a long one back?
This would count. Off iron, and it doesn't go. So the Warriors down 8 at the end of 1. They're down 10 now at halftime. They have rebounded somewhat from the poor shooting. They still have a long way to go to keep up with the hot shooting Phoenix Suns. And Ainge knows how to utilize them, but I think that Jason hit on something. He can take the off guard defensively. There's not a lot of point guards that are that big and that strong, and when you have that type of depth, the points and minutes, the Suns aren't worried about their individual numbers. I don't think anyone's worried about scoring 30 or 25, and that's why they're so good and so dangerous.
And they're so flexible. Now, Dampier got in foul trouble, 17 minutes, but he did nothing with the 5 minutes in the second quarter except add a couple of fouls. All of his numbers there, the points, the rebounds, came in the first quarter.
You start the third, it'll be Muggsy Bogues, Jim Jackson, Weatherspoon, Marshall, and Dampier.
Look at the Suns bench among Danny Manning, Kevin Johnson, George McLeod, 26 points off the bench, and Warriors have to be cognizant of that.
It's a good feed from Danielle to Weatherspoon and back to Marshall, and he cut right down the lane. It was a good dive cut, and he laid it in.
And they cut the lead to single digits.
See if the Warriors can claw back into this one. As the fans kind of getting back in their seats here, not the normal deafening din in Arizona. Kidd at the top of the key. He's worked on his shooting with Frank Johnson. They're playing a little one-on-one games and keeping score. Frank is leading 18-16 in their 34 mano-a-mano matchup.
So he's only a 30% shooter from beyond the line this year. The line has been extended back. Career, he's 35%, which very much surprises me. Warriors another turnover, and that's just a careless one. You got to take care of the basketball.
That's the Warriors' 11th turnover. Robinson working on Marshall, got in deep. The jump hook doesn't go, and Weatherspoon with a rebound. Muggsy's looking to push at every opportunity. That's benefited the Warriors like that, as they get a point-blank opportunity on the right-hand flush. Back to that 8 points. Psychologically, it doesn't seem like a lot, but looking up at that single digit after seeing being down 15 earlier, it's important.
Eric Dampier stayed home. He's going to pick up this 4th foul, and John Hot Rod Williams was going to get rid of the ball. He wasn't even going to take a look at the basket on that one. Unfortunate for Eric Dampier. Last time down, Muggsy just reading the trailing Weatherspoon, and he just hammers that down. Right now, Dampier stays on the floor.
Wow, that was a big-time touch foul for a couple 7-footers banging into each other. 52-44, though. The Warriors' defense holds. Muggsy behind the back, pretty nifty. Spoon couldn't finish. And Kidd headed the other way.
Great pass. Risky pass, but good read with Weatherspoon and Muggsy.
And Marshall got a hand on it, read Kidd's eyes. And Muggsy is fouled.
Well, they figured they'd call the McDyess, the Dampier foul in the middle. They got to give Muggsy the benefit of the doubt here. Muggsy's been all over the floor tonight retrieving loose balls.
Bogues has 3 assists to go with his 7 points. Warriors down 8, 9:48 remaining in the third. Set up Dampier. He puts it on the floor, gets to the rim, and able to finish. That's a play we haven't seen.
Now, that looked like a Danny Manning move.
Yeah.
You know, a guy 6'11", being able to take one dribble, cross over, and finish off of 1 foot. Soft, lay it up off the glass.
Dampier with the double-double. Now 11 points. Cliff Robinson can always take it off the dribble, gets to the rim and lays it in.
He's much stronger when you let him go to his right. He's very right-handed.
Back to the 8-point Phoenix lead. Dampier rotates it. Marshall with Robinson flying and rattled out. Robinson's running. Kidd sees him. Muggsy able to bat it away. And Kidd, set shot 3 is in.
Well, I remember at the San Jose Arena, where the non-shooter Jason Kidd came in and lit it up for 8 3-pointers last year.
33 points in that game. That was his season high. Good ball movement by the Warriors, and Dampier fouled. Spoon fouled Muggsy. He didn't even hesitate, fouled Dampier. The Warriors, if they had not really fallen in that hole in the first quarter, you wonder what kind of game we'd be watching.
Muggsy did a great job here, once again, breaking up a play, giving it his all, and then Jason Kidd just calmly sinks that 3-pointer. But I still would give him that shot. I'd rather have him shoot it than obviously Rex Chapman, McLeod off the bench. Dennis Scott hasn't even seen any action tonight.
Well, don't bring up his name just so Ainge is reminded he's even on the bench. And the one thing about Danny Ainge, they asked him about his set rotation. He said flat out, I'm trying to win games. I don't care about guys' egos, bringing anyone along, building confidence. I'm putting in who I think is going to give us a chance to win, and I just think he has so many players that can play. Sometimes he just avoids or forgets about a guy every once in a while. And Scott is that guy tonight. Scott shooting 44% on three since the trade from Dallas. Kidd to McDyess. The ball came free, but McDyess got it back. Still time to shoot with 7. And Jason Kidd now has hit 3 jumpers, including a 3. 59-48 Phoenix with 8:17 remaining in the third. And Kidd has punched it up. 11 points, 6 assists, 4 rebounds. Smooth from outside. It won't go. Warriors 5 of 25 to start the game, 12 of 24 since then. Kidd is so much bigger and stronger than Muggsy. Can get that shot, and Kidd has made 4 in a row. Jason Kidd 6 of 9 shooting. PJ calls fist 2, and that means Jackson, the 2 guard, comes to get the ball. See who they go to.
Post up for Jimmy Jackson, but being played very well downside. Chapman got some help.
Shot clock's at 7. Jackson getting into the lane. Nice jump hook. So fist 2 worked with the 2 guard in the block. 61-50. Suns on top. McDyess was held. The ball bounced off his shoulder because Spoon had his hand.
Well, that's the way you have to try and attempt to play McDyess. Push him off the low block.
Timeout on the floor. 7:22 remaining in the third. The Warriors playing better, but the Suns not giving any ground. Jason Kidd with 9 of the Suns' 11 points here in the third quarter in the first 4 minutes and 38 seconds, and he can get this shot over Muggsy whenever he wants.
Anytime at all, and Muggsy needs to get some help because Jason Kidd is so strong inside. 9 points already this quarter. Remember at half he only had 4, and I said that was kind of a bad omen because he usually plays so well against the Warriors. He's been a winner everywhere he goes. St. Joe's.
At Cal.
Yep. Parade, high school All-American, the Naismith Board, the consensus player of the year in high school.
Be sure to pick up the San Francisco Chronicle for the best coverage of tonight's game. News, information, and sports you can't get anywhere else. The Chronicle is the Bay Area's best newspaper. Warriors down 11. The Kidd has 4 of 4. If they could just stop him, they seem to be controlling the rest of the Suns. Dampier controlling the baseline and double fisting it down.
And that was very similar to what we showed you at halftime from that top view. Going down on the left side and rotating the ball, they found a little crack in that defense.
Dampier's got 15 to lead all scorers. And the Warriors have it back to single digits. Rex. Chapman missing the last 4 games and missing that jumper badly. Muggsy weaving through traffic. Warriors could cut it to 7. Danielle lost it for just a second. Plenty of time to shoot with 9 on the clock.
Danielle's trying to get open inside. They just can't find enough room to throw over the top, but he's been there.
Jackson takes Chapman off the dribble. It was a smooth move. He was under control. The shot clock was winding down, and pretty good rhythm, and Jackson made it.
Warriors are doing more than just hanging in. They're building confidence right now, and it has the Suns very concerned, believe me.
Kidd is going to attempt a wild shot that he probably would have made the way he's going, but Hot Rod missing. Weatherspoon the rebound, and here come the Warriors again. 15 of their last 27 shots have gone in, so the Warriors starting to pick it up.
Dampier gave up his position.
Lost the ball for a second, repost. In on Hot Rod, the fadeaway. Hot Rod challenged and changed the shot.
He had Hot Rod on his side, and then he released. He thought there was someone behind, and he gave up that position. And he never got as advantageous as it was.
Robinson, a tough shot, good defense by Marshall, and McDyess touched it last.
So now the Suns' shots aren't falling for him right now. 2 plays ago, when they rotate the ball, they got the nice dunk. And then off the dribble, Jimmy Jackson parts it from 16 feet.
Jackson's got 10 on 4 of 9. Warriors could cut it to 5 here.
Watch how tough Kidd is. See, look at that.
And we're going to have, if it's not a foul on Danielle, to just say he stepped on the baseline. No, it's a clear out. Eddie Brush went with the offensive foul on that.
This, I said, this is not a mismatch. Jason Kidd is so strong, and he's got such quick feet and a quick mind. He just beat him to the spot. That wasn't a mismatch as much as you thought it would with a height differential.
Yeah, well, Kidd's probably stronger than Danielle. A little more solidly. Chapman being double teamed. They rotated to McDyess. Remember, Dampier has 4 fouls. Robinson 1 in the 24 clock. He was knocked down and will shoot 3 free throws. Very tough sequence of events as Marshall was whistled for an offensive foul on one end, and the Warriors played 23 seconds of great defense, and instead Robinson to shoot 3 free throws.
And the mistake that was made is that Danielle went across the body of Robinson. I think he had a chance from the angle to go right by the shooting hand, and then you avoid the body.
Clifford Robinson, 8 years in Portland, signed as a free agent. Again, much less than his market value for 1 year, $1 million.
I'll take a look as this ball gets kicked out. See, Danielle goes, and he went to the wrong side of the body. That got him the foul. He could have gone right across to the shooting hand and slid right by, and now you get 3 free throws attempted there and then the rebound back.
Well, he only made 1 out of 3, but the Warriors couldn't get the defensive rebound. Chapman doesn't give him the 3-point play. Another offensive rebound. Chapman again with a finger roll. George Gervin is smiling somewhere. That was from about 5 feet away, and the Suns get 3 the hard way and push it back up to 10. Warriors could have cut it to 5, and a 5-point swing the other way. Marshall, jumper doesn't go down, and Hot Rod the rebound. Mark that down. That might have been the sequence that the Warriors will regret as it's pushed up to 12 now. Offensive foul on Marshall, 3-point play, and then the dunk. And the Warriors going to have to take a timeout. 3:48. They were back in the ball game, and the Suns meeting every challenge. Cliff Robinson too easy with the score. Be sure to check out KICU tonight at 11 o'clock for High School Sports Focus with Robert Bronstein. This is big-time high school playoff basketball action. McClymonds of De La Salle, St. Joe's taking on Galileo, plus a feature on the small school guard who just may be the Bay Area's best pure shooter. That's tonight at 11 right here on KICU with Robert Bronstein. And after the Warrior game tonight, KICU, a Warrior special, a look into the future, a look ahead. Talk about some of the young Warriors and how the franchise turning the corner and starting to build for the future. Weatherspoon rattling it from the baseline, in and out. Suns now out rebounding the Warriors this quarter, 8-6. And Phoenix, so Warriors had a chance to cut it to 5. Has pushed it back up to 12 with 3:23 remaining in the third. Cliff Robinson has done the most damage. Caffey came in specifically to guard him and forced the miss that time. Dampier pulls rebound number 11, his first since the first quarter. Jackson, tough fadeaway, double clutch. Can't get the roll, and Hot Rod the rebound.
See how he just tapped that off the board to himself to get a better angle?
McDyess missed one dunk earlier, missed that one. Had the crowd coming out of its seat. They sat back down in a hurry. Spoon won't miss the runner.
I'd much rather take an easy layup that goes through than a dunk that could be on the highlight reel that misses.
It's back to a 10-point game with 2:36 remaining in the third. Cliff Robinson, the Warriors have had no answer for him tonight. He's got 17 points, 8 of 16, and he's not really a power forward, and he's not really a small forward.
But he's very versatile. Now, a moment ago, over the top, it looked like to me that McDyess went a little more laterally than up in the air. But he still should have had it down. You know, Robinson, at Portland, the 8 years there, he played center, he played small forward, he played power forward. Once in a while, he even played off guard. Then he defended all of those positions extremely well.
McDyess with a face-up move. He sealed off Weatherspoon with the free arm, and Clarence thought he hooked him, but Eddie Rush didn't think so. Back to a 12-point bulge. Jackson from the outside, and the Warriors shooting declining here in the last couple of minutes, and look at Robinson get out and run.
that remind you of Danny Manning a little bit?
Absolutely.
The way he ran, the way he finished, under control.
19 for Uncle Cliffy to lead all scorers.
Now, this is a possession the Warriors, not necessarily need to score, but it would sure add to it because then Phoenix comes back down. They can make it a 16 or even a 17-point game.
I thought it was a must score. With a minute 42 remaining in the third. This has all happened since Marshall was whistled for the offensive foul. The Warriors could have cut it to 5 at that juncture. The Suns have pushed it up to 14 now. It's a 9-2 run with only Weatherspoon's layup being involved in the middle of that. Give and go, hot rod the reverse. Look at Caffey snatch it off the rim. Muggsy hustling. Dell can't get it to go. 3 Warriors crash, and it'll be a 2-on-1 Phoenix the other way. Kidd, perfect this quarter.
Yeah, Tony Dell made a mistake. He went for a steal right about half court, and that put the pressure on the rest of the defense for the Warriors. And they were lucky, in fact, he didn't get a layup. The pass was a little mishandled, but otherwise, Tony's got to get back against this group, especially when Jason Kidd is on the floor.
Caffey chooses his own option, and Marshall following. Danielle now with 8 rebounds and 10 points. Seemed like that one Warrior run woke up the Suns, and Danny Ainge is going to stop it to see how they play the final 46 seconds of the third quarter. 46.7 remaining in the third, 72-58. Phoenix on top, and the Suns just too tough. Early offense. Caffey trying to create something, get some movement. Suns get out of position defensively, and the Warriors are able to crash the glass.
There's Frank Johnson, as you mentioned a moment ago, talking to Jason Kidd there, but has tried to help Jason with his shooting.
Frank leading in the one-on-ones, though. He will tell you that, 18-16 in the one-on-one battles. I'd like to watch a couple of those.
That's because Frankie can shoot the ball a heck of a lot better.
Yes, he can.
Look at that whole bench. You got Scott Skiles. He was a good shooter. Danny Ainge was a very good shooter. Frank Johnson is a very good shooter. Well, they surely could help Jason Kidd.
McDyess and Caffey, the former college teammates, and Caffey had denied him initially, but McDyess a little quicker drew the foul. Warriors over the limit, and Antonio McDyess to shoot a couple free throws.
One of the things I think has to happen to be a good shooter, you've got to shoot 300 to 500 shots a day. And I don't think a lot of players discipline themselves to do that. I think Jason Kidd plays ball in the summertime, but he goes over to Kezar and plays up and down the same way he's playing tonight, rather than just go out and shoot the basketball. Also, I don't think they stay in Phoenix year-round here because it's too hot in the summertime, so you don't have that control over them.
Wesley Person, Tony Dumas traded away along with 3 number 1s for Antonio McDyess. The Suns want to re-sign him, but at what price?
Well, they gave up a lot. They have to sign him. Yeah, good point.
About a 7-second game clock, shot clock differential. Caffey had it knocked away. It'll be Warrior ball with 6 to shoot.
Now you can see how that pass would be made. But I said earlier that McDyess can play defense. That was great quickness to come around. I thought the play was there. I think Caffey did too. He was quite surprised that McDyess got there.
Caffey, 3 to shoot. Crossover move on McDyess. 1 to shoot. He got it up and in and beat the clock. Now the shot clock's off here. You got to stop Kidd and make him use some time. Muggsy doing a good job of that. Now to Robinson. Good! At the buzzer, they'll count a 3-pointer, and Phoenix can do no wrong. The Phoenix Suns put on a show here in the third quarter, and the Warrior run soundly repelled. The 10-point halftime lead has somehow grown to 17 heading into the fourth. Our Budweiser game summary after 3, after the Warriors had cut it to 7, a 16-6 run to end it, fueled primarily by Jason Kidd, and the Suns taking advantage of the Warrior miscues.
And those turnovers, 12-point differential in the turnovers, points off the turnovers, I should say.
McDyess did well just to catch that ball. Delk, Dampier, Marshall, Caffey, and Muggsy. Shot clock at 1. That's too late. It's too late. It's going to look good on the highlight reel, but the Warriors, a good 24 seconds of defense. McDyess didn't get it off in time.
Well, the Warriors did a great job of double-teaming Kevin Johnson, because they threw it back to Hot Rod, but I think the Warriors were a little fortunate that there wasn't an extra second, because they gave up again the dunk inside the lane. Two men jumped at the shooter, Hot Rod, from above the free throw line.
Hot Rod McDyess, KJ Danny Manning, and Jason Kidd to play for Phoenix. Caffey and McDyess into travel.
They dragged that left foot to pivot foot on a crossover move, just a little bit.
Guess you would get to know your former college teammate, scrimmaged against him enough. The moves he likes to go at. It's been a draw right now between McDyess and Caffey. Neither have had the advantage. Again, a feed at the rim, and McDyess was fouled. This is the question with Antonio McDyess's game is he certainly is an amazing pogo stick leaper, but what other skills does he bring to you at power forward?
Well, look at, you see how much room there is? All the people are above the top of the circle, and that's what enabled Antonio McDyess to get inside at the basket, and that is a misread by Jason Caffey. He's got to look out there and say, hey, I shouldn't be fronting right now. I've got to get a little better position and body up on McDyess, otherwise I'm very vulnerable going over the top to the rim. That's a great view again.
McDyess hitting the free throws. This is the largest lead of the night for Phoenix at 19, 79-60. Delk from outside, missed it long, and Hot Rod with the rebound. So the run grows to 18-6 as that Marshall offensive foul, and then the foul on the three-pointer by Cliff Robinson just seemed to take the wind out of the Warriors' sails. They have not recovered since that point. Manning inside. And Dampier with another rebound. He's grabbed and fouled.
Fouls on number 15, Danny Manning. His third, first team foul on shooting foul.
Warriors need to make a little run here. Now we're going to see
Donald Foyle coming in with 10:30 remaining, and I think Donald, who has had some pretty decent garbage time looks and has been working hard in practice, PJ Carlesimo rewarding him and seeing if he can provide a spark.
I said that about Jason Caffey, that he doesn't look at the score. Same thing for Donald Foyle. He doesn't know whether it's first quarter or fourth quarter. He's going to play hard all the time. And if you relax, he can burn you.
Foyle at the top of the key, puts it on the floor against McDyess, had him block the shot. Manning will just jump out of bounds.
They couldn't call timeout. That's the new rule. You have to have a foot down. He didn't have it. He tried to call it, but he couldn't do it.
I think O'Donnell's got to do what Todd Fuller does, though, and kind of run up and down the floor a few times before trying to make your own offensive move the first time you touch the ball. Just get in the flow. You can understand it, anxious and nervous, wanting to please. And up and under the travel. So you've seen two moves by Foyle initially and getting a little over anxious.
Well, he had no choice on that one because Jimmy Jackson gave him the ball and there was so much congestion in the middle of the lane. O'Donnell had to try to make that move.
9:54 remaining in the ball game. 79-60 Phoenix. And Manning rattles it in. Pushes it up to 20. And Jim, I wonder how you think the Suns will do in the postseason. They're battling San Antonio for the 4th seed. That would give them home court advantage. Pretty important. I don't know if they'll catch the Spurs, but Phoenix is the type of team that can come at you in waves. 9:36 remaining in the ball game. Suns up 21. It'll be Thursday from Reunion Arena. Dennis Scott, the former Maverick, put up 33 against the Warriors in Big D, but will not have to deal with 3D as they head down there. They'll have to see Cedric Ceballos, who's been playing so well for the Mavericks, and Don Nelson. Tony Delk on the inbound was bumped and still made the shot. 81-62. The Warriors have 8 points in the last 9 minutes of the game, counting that bucket. And it's been that drought that has allowed the Suns to continue to pad the lead because they have not stopped scoring at all. As Manning makes the bucket and is fouled. So, Jim, from a playoff standpoint, and we'll watch Manning make this shot.
We mentioned earlier that Kevin Johnson, just so good at the pick and roll, reads the defense, quick little behind the back pass, and Danny Manning, coming off the bench, is so valuable to this club. I mean, he's a threat as a passer. Look at the efficiency. 14 points. He's only played a total of 14 minutes in the game until now.
Dampier and Dell on the mismatch. Do you think Phoenix could beat Seattle? Do you think they could beat the Lakers? And how good is this team? They're deep. They're very deep.
Well, they beat the Lakers for the first time this season. Their last time they matched up. And it was the first time since November of 1995. 8 straight defeats. So I really don't think they can beat the Lakers. They did that here at home, you know, the last time they played them. But I really would give the edge to Seattle. I'd give the edge to the Lakers. But they did push Seattle to 5 games in the first round last year. They lost 3 games to 2. And they did make it a 5-game series.
They seem to own the Spurs. And if you can have a 4 or 5 matchup, San Antonio Phoenix, which is we would have now. Shot clock at 3. Manning's jumper doesn't go. Another long rebound, and McDyess tracked it down. 84-62. Phoenix on top with 8:43 remaining in the ball game. Nash drew the defense. Manning couldn't finish it off, and Delk starts it the other way. So Delk and Jackson foil Marshall and Dampier, and Jim Jackson with a nice take with the right hand to get it in. Aggressive move to the hoop, and Jackson now has moved into double figures with 10 on 4 of 11 shooting. Story of the ball game is the Warriors 5 of 25 shooting to start the first quarter. They have not recovered from that, and Delk couldn't recover the basketball, so Phoenix will maintain possession. Nash on the catch and shoot. Tony another rebound. Used the Dampier screen and hesitated for just a second. Marshall had knocked it away, but Manning will recover. Dice started the game by making 2 long jumpers. Makes another one there, and we've seen Kevin Garnett really improve his jump shot. McDyess has shown me something tonight from the outside that we haven't seen.
Well, look at Steve Nash work defensively on Tony Delk. The last couple of weeks he's been working out twice a day. Danny Ainge has had to pull him back and say, don't work so hard.
Because he's injured too. He's got a bruised back as Jackson knocks in the 3-pointer. Still a lot of time in the game, but the Warriors haven't been able to stop the Suns from scoring as McLeod can't hit the 3. 7 minutes remaining, 86-67. Phoenix on top. Marshall knocked away by McLeod.
I like that mismatch more than Jason Kidd in there, because McLeod, sure, he's bigger than Jason Kidd, but he's not near the defender. I think Marshall could exploit that.
Donald Foyle had the good cut, couldn't hold on to the ball, and the Warriors will take a 20-second timeout.
Well, what was it last night? Dallas 19 points down to Chicago?
Yeah, the Mavericks 5:44 left, 19 down to the Bulls. That was last night, and they're down 8 with 52 seconds left, 5 with 15 seconds left, and still 1 in overtime. Here's the Western Conference with Seattle and Utah, Lakers, San Antonio, and Phoenix. You see the Suns a game and a half behind San Antonio. They would meet in that 4-5 matchup, and think of the depth of the Western Conference. San Antonio and Phoenix in a best-of-5 first-round playoff matchup. That's really speaks to the quality of the Western Conference.
Yeah, and you look at San Antonio, they've got that twin tower look. Inside efficiency, lacking the outside shooting. Phoenix has certainly better outside shooting, more depth on the team. It'd be a good matchup. What about the race in the East, though? Everybody, so many teams trying for that 8th and final spot with, you know, Washington and Cleveland.
Delk the 2-foot jump, draws the foul, and will get 2 free throws. Well,
New Jersey, Orlando, those are 4 clubs, and they could all flip-flop.
The East, though, it's really Chicago, Miami, and Indiana. You got to think that those are the 2 main ones, or the 3 main teams, as Delk makes the free throw. You can rent a luxury suite for upcoming events, including Barney. And it's not Jim Barnett, it's that purple dinosaur. He loves you, you love me. They are all one happy family. 510-986-2273 is luxury suite rental information at the new arena. And I'll probably take the kids to see Barney, Jim. That's always a good show. And Tony McDyess does get a dunk. They have thrown lob after lob after lob to him. He dropped them all, but that time he came back and flushed it on the other side. Dampier with McDyess on him, spun the other way. Manning to double team. He knocked it away. KJ to McLeod, dropped it off. McDyess to finish. Suns don't have a lot of intimidating shot blockers, but they do have some long, lean athletes that get in the passing lanes, and once they get it to their guards, the big guys run the floor, get it back, and they finish very efficiently. Shot clock at 3. Jackson's jumper is in, and Jim Jackson shooting his way out of the slump at this moment.
Pick and roll.
Nash got around the double team, gave Johnson a point-blank feed. He missed the scoop, but McDyess got it back.
They're just passing the ball anywhere they want right now. They passed up a shot underneath, a shot outside to get it back in again after an offensive rebound.
92-71, Phoenix on top as they look to move over 100, and we have talked to you in the last couple ball games, and when the Warriors give up 100 points, they have yet to win a game this season. Warriors remarkably consistent, scoring in the mid-80s, shooting in the low 40%, and when they match up against a high-scoring team, as Gerald Matkins got his first Warrior playing time against Minnesota, this would be his final game on his 10-day contract. Warriors will have some roster decision moves to make before Sunday. Bimbo Cole's eligible to come off the injured list as Maxson misses the jumper. Dampier can't hold it. Nash, a rare wide open miss for Steve Nash, who has owned that three-point line, and PJ Carlissimo is going to use a timeout. 4:39 remaining. The Suns with a 92-71 lead. When they take a timeout in the fourth quarter at America West Arena, the Phoenix Gorilla flies into your living room. I like the Gorilla. He puts on a good show.
He was the original mascot. They don't even have mascots around the league, but he has been here, I believe, since the inception of the franchise back in 1968.
4:39 remaining. Antonio McDyess having fun with 18 points tonight. Jim Jackson, the feed to Dampier. Jackson gets rid of the ball so quick. Warriors still learning to play with their new teammates after 11 game. Well, it's been the story of runs with Phoenix. We were even at 16 in the first quarter. The Suns went on a 14-2 run. Warriors had cut it to 7 in the third quarter, 61-54. Suns went on a 16-6 run. And the Warriors, with the limited offensive firepower, Jim, they just don't come up with 16-6 runs of their own to answer back.
And nothing to respond to that, because you're exactly right. And most games, when you're talking about a 20-point differential, will come back to runs like that. It may remain close here and there, but let's face it, the Phoenix Suns now looking for, will get their 42nd win of the season. This is a club that won 40 games last year after starting 0-13. In the 95-96, they won 41 games. And prior to that, they had 7 straight seasons of 50-plus wins, including, remember when they went to the finals and lost to Chicago in 93, they were 62-20.
Jim Jackson now with 21 points. I remember Kevin Johnson playing 62 minutes in that triple overtime game in Chicago Stadium as the Suns down 2-0 in that series, pulled it within 2-1. That was a pretty good series, actually. And John Paxson finishing it off, Game 6 here at America West Arena, giving the Bulls their 3rd consecutive championship.
Well, as you said, though, a minute ago, that the Suns have owned San Antonio this year, so if they do match up, yes, they're 3-0 against them, and their outside shooting so much stronger. Here comes Dennis Scott.
Well, one of 7 players in NBA history with 1,000 trays, and Danny Ainge has coached one of the others, so 2 of those 7 in attendance tonight. And you got to think if McLeod keeps playing, that he'll get there eventually. Jackson shot rims long and out. Marko Milic is also in the ball game for Phoenix, out of Slovenia, the 34th pick in 1997 by Philadelphia. He was actually traded for Tom Chambers, who then went and retired on the 76ers. Milic is a big-time leaper. I don't know if he has a true position yet as he backs in on Matkins, a running hook, and it didn't go down, and Weatherspoon with a rebound. Inside of 3 minutes, 94-75. Suns on top. Maybe the Suns won't get to the 100-point mark.
You know, you're talking about three-pointers. Nice steal by Tony. Should have taken that 3 right there. Unselfish, getting it over to Fuller. Fuller should have stayed there. He'd have had an offensive rebound. But, you know, that Clifford Robinson at 6'10", has over 500 three-pointers to his credit in his career.
Yeah, well, Robinson, the line has made the difference for Clifford, because he shoots only 50 on the long line. He had 53 attempts in 1993. Then it went up to 383, 471, 350. This year, down to 56. So 22 feet. Cliff liked the line, 23-9 beyond his range.
No question about it. It's still not bad for a guy 6'10".
Oh, absolutely. No, he's a fabulous player. McLeod missing.
Played 3 years. Clifford Robinson did in Portland under PJ.
Donald Foyle's jump hook a little strong. 2:12 remaining in the ball game. 94-75 Suns. So, as we said, maybe the Suns will not get to the 100-point mark, as Ainge has been substituting freely. Dennis Scott, just another shooter. Scott, McLeod, Nash, KJ. Manning can shoot it. Robinson, you talked about, can shoot. They just have shooting everywhere on this roster. And once they get the center they're looking for, presumably Ike Austin, or get Scottie Pippen to play in the open floor with Jason Kidd, I don't know how you stop the Suns. Nash out to Milic. His set shot 3 is in. Milic now 3 of 5 on threes for the year. He's only played, this is his 28th game. Caffey to Foyle working on the much smaller Dennis Scott. And the Donald's shot caught nothing. Caffey couldn't hold on to it. It was kicked out of bounds. Minute 12 remaining in the ball game. Warriors will fly home tonight. Then the matinee game against Toronto. First look at Chauncey Billups in a Raptor uniform. Foyle, the face-up jumper, off iron. And we head into the final minute. Milic inside, able to rattle it in. So Marko Milic has had his way with Gerald Matkins. And the Suns at 99. One more point. Shy of the 100-point mark. Matkins and Foyle, a little two-man game, and Matkins will just put up the jumper and make his first Warrior basket. Steve Nash, with KJ more than likely retiring, will get the opportunity to play along Jason Kidd. And talk about guard heavy, Ainge, Skiles, and Frank Johnson versus Kidd, KJ, and Steve Nash. Well,
the assistant coaches there, Scott Skiles and Frank Johnson. Now, each of them played 10 years in the league. Danny Ainge played 14. So that's 34 years, 23,000 points, over 10,000 assists. And then you take the trio of guards we talk about that are active on the roster. There's a lot of commonality there and a lot of common ground for them to talk about, interact with.
Well, who coaches the big people?
Well, you can see why the makeup of this club and how it's guard oriented, and it's why Danny Ainge also likes to go small.
Yeah, absolutely. So I said, who coaches the big people on this team? Todd Fuller has not made a 3 this year. Now 0 for 3 after missing that one. Fuller will get the ball back. Shot clock off. The Suns, after being up 10 at halftime, moved out to a 17-point lead at the end of 3. And it will wind down in the hands of George McLeod as Phoenix has now taken all 3 meetings from the Warriors this year. 1 more remaining at the new arena later. But the Phoenix Suns get up early on some poor Warriors shooting, extend it out at halftime, build on the lead into the 3rd, and solidly beat the Warriors 101-77 at America West tonight. Jim and I back to talk about it as the Warriors drop one to the Suns right after this.